Your book's title is one of the very first things that potential readers see, so choosing a good one is a pretty big deal. Today I'm sharing my process for naming a book and the title of my upcoming one. Naming your book can happen at any time in the writing process. For me, book 1 of my series was called The Delinquent Crown from pretty early on in the drafting phase, and that name stuck with it. For book 2, I called it Olexia Legends 2 until after beta readers. So, as you can see, it can happen at any time. Sometimes the title of your book is really obvious from the start, and other times you will spend a stupid amount of time trying to figure it out. So when I was doing exactly that, here are the steps I took to help me find my title. First, just make a list of all the words you can think of that pertain to your story. These can be things like character names, symbols that you use in the book, important events, specific lines, special objects, places, or even themes that you use in your story. Sometimes you'll find your title right here. And if you do, consider me jealous, because I spent way too much time trying to name this book. If this did not lead you to finding the title of your book, here's what you do. Next, you're going to make another list of words that don't necessarily come from your story, but pick words that go with your story and genre that could work well with the ones that you've already thought of. So for instance, paranormal romance books like to use the words blood, midnight, and bite in their titles a lot. Fantasy loves the words queen, magic, and god do we love to use the word crown. And now comes the fun part. And by the fun part, I mean the part where you question your sanity. All you're going to do is start moving stuff around and combining words until you find something that sounds like an actual title. This is where the questioning your sanity part comes in, because you're at this point just mashing words together and you're just going to get a bunch of stuff that doesn't even sound like book titles. Different genres have different naming trends, so make sure you do your research and take the ones that you're thinking about and compare them to others in the same genre. Now that you've come up with all these different titles, you can go ahead and make a short list of the ones you like best. Make sure you search for these titles on both Amazon and Goodreads and cross off anything that's already taken. Especially for sci-fi and fantasy, this is where choosing unique words from your story, like places or character names, are really going to help you out. Make sure you also check the initials of these titles. So, okay, I have a dumb story about this one. So before Delinquent Crown came out, I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to call the series. I knew I wanted the name to include the name of the world that it takes place in, which is Olexia, but I had a few different options for what I was going to call the series. For a while it was Adventures in Olexia, but that sounded a little too middle grade for my taste. So then next it was Legends of Olexia, and I really liked this one until someone pointed out to me that the initials for it were LOO, or Lou, when you read it out, which is, you know, what English people call the restroom. Thank you for pointing that out to me before I went forward calling my series that, because that would have bothered me. So yeah, check what your initials are for the title, and also Google those really quickly to make sure those don't mean anything weird. Olexia Legends is shorter anyway. So one last thing to consider about your title is if you plan to write a series. If there's even a possibility that you might want to write a series based on this book, then you should consider what kind of naming trends you could use for it. I wasn't sure what naming theme I wanted to go with for the rest of the series, but I had a couple different options based on what I called book 2. I didn't really want to keep with the crown thing, but that was kind of my backup plan, so I at least knew that I had something I could call it. I considered calling book 2 The Reluctant Heir, so kind of The Delinquent Crown, The Reluctant Heir. It goes together, but for me that didn't really fit the tone of the book, and there were also a lot of books already named that. So to recap, your title should fit in with your genre, convey the tone of your story, sound interesting, be unique, not have weird initials, and have options for sequel titles. Also, you should like it, of course. So before I go, the title of Olexia Legends 2 is going to be The Dormant Titan. Very exciting. I like it a lot. I went back and forth on like 3 different titles that are very similar before I actually chose The Dormant Titan. It's funny, the parts of the writing process and the publishing process that you think will be really easy are sometimes not, like titling your book. It's just like a little 3-word thing you have to come up with, but it like has to encompass the whole story and also sound interesting and also be marketable and also not be taken. It's like a lot of pressure to put on like 3 words. If you'd like to dive into the world of Olexia, you can check out Age of the Gods, which is a free short story I'll have linked down below. Alright, that's all I got for you, so thanks for watching. Bye!